What makes us resilient? What makes some people continue to pursue their goals and dreams in spite of roadblocks or challenges? What if all we needed was an opportunity? Imagine if we trusted our talents, our abilities, and our strengths, then took a chance on ourselves. FutureProof is a Cincinnati State faculty and student-created podcast where students, alumni, and employers share adventures in learning outside of the classroom. We hope you will cheer, cry, and laugh along the way as we share our students' stories of resiliency and overcoming the odds. Find out what happens when we finally stop saying no and start saying yes.
Well, Cierra, welcome to FutureProof.
Welcome to FutureProof.
FutureProof.
The podcast from Cincinnati State highlighting student stories of adventure and learning outside the classroom.
Okay.
And our guest today is Cierra Campbell.
Hey, y'all!
And I'm Amy Donbar, and
I'm Jane Dressing.
And we're your hosts
and
today.
This is FutureProof.
Boom. We're already in it, guys. Audience, so we're just so glad to have you here, Cierra.
I am glad to be here.
Cierra was a student of Jane's, and today we're going to get into your story and hear all about you. So I'm so thankful you're here.
Okay.
Cierra was a pandemic grad, 2020 grad.
Girl.
We're going to get into that a little bit. We're so happy to have Cierra Campbell here, and she is one of those people that when you hear about people being presented with options, you can do this or you can do this. Cierra says, I can do that and this.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
There's never an or with Cierra.
Yeah.
There's always an and. And I love that. So Cierra, tell us a little bit about how you got to Cincinnati State, because you were a little bit of a non-traditional student. Yes. You'd had a life before starting college, and what was that like? What was it like when you told your family, when you told people in your life, you know what, I'm going to college?
So actually, I started at UC.
Okay.
Fresh out of high school, 17-year-old. Right. I started school at 17.
We've never
Wow.
heard this story before.
Yeah, no, you never heard this story.
Wow.
But I started school because my birthday is in August. So
Okay.
started school. Then I turned 18. Started college, UC, biology major, pre-med major, right? Third year of college, I get pregnant. Have my daughter. Now, I tried to stay in school and do school, but then I didn't have any money. And so I was like, oh, I have to stop working. I have to go to work, make money. And while I'm making my money, I'm going to work to pay school off, right? Like, I'm not going to get any loans. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to take care of my daughter. I'm going to work, and I'm going to pay.
Again, the and.
My
the
tuition.
and. Like it's and. What Jane said. Yep.
Never
And
was.
so I worked at University Hospital, UC Hospital, right? And I worked in a position where you got tips. So you a full pay and tips, right?
Okay.
And so I took the tips and I saved every one of them, like every little bit of them. I was like, this is what's going to be paying for my tuition. Like, okay, I'm going to sit out for a semester. I'm going to gather these tips, and then I'm going to use the tips to pay for my school bill. And I did just that. All of the bills, I paid for it.
I want to tell you that I worked at Shoney's in college, and people tipped like a nickel for the breakfast part. I don't know what job you had where the tips were covering college, because I was barely keeping the lights on with my tips. So
I'm glad
okay.
you went there, because I was like, where is this at UC?
Is that job still available?
Yeah, thank you. I was like, thanks, Jane, for going. I love how Jane goes where I want to go, and I'm like, is this okay?
Picturing
And then
my
Jane
Shoney's
goes there, and I'm like,
perform.
okay. So you thought, I'm going to hang on to these tips, and I'm going to use this to pay for school.
Yeah.
And
So
at this point, were you still enrolled at UC,
I
or
was
you had
still
decided?
enrolled,
Okay,
but
okay.
I was taking a quarter off.
Okay.
Back then, this is when
Quarters,
it were
yeah.
quarters, not semesters.
Yeah. We were talking about that earlier. Yeah.
So And I worked at Aubon Pan, right?
Okay.
And
Aubon Pan. We're going back. Where is Aubon Pan?
If you call I'm buying bread French and just put it in the French words,
everything sounds good.
Everybody's giving a tip.
Everybody
for that.
says.
No, Aubon Pan means of good bread.
That's what I'm saying.
But
right.
that's not where the tips were, right?
Yes.
Oh, it was.
So they had a stand in the business building at UC.
Okay.
And so, the business people got dough. And all you need...
These
No
are
pun
puns
intended.
on puns.
Dough for the dough.
Entendres are happening in here. Okay.
all you needed was a nice smile and good conversation. That's it.
Mm-hmm. We know you
And
got
so
that.
All right,
what
here
I
we go.
did was
Yes, I love
got
that.
a nice smile and good conversation, right?
That's
I told him my
Are
story.
you teaching a class? I need to take the Sierra. Like all these things.
Sierra
I'm picking
Campbell
up.
boot camp.
I know.
Right here.
Wait,
This is
we're gonna have her
phase
teach here,
one.
right?
Yeah.
We
Y'all
said
keep
that.
playing, but I would
No,
be an
I'm
adjunct
not playing.
professor.
I'm not playing, and I want to be in the class. Okay, keep going. Keep going.
I
Keep
mean,
going,
you
girl.
So you're getting
Free
tips,
teachers later.
selling
Yeah.
bread.
Getting tips, selling
Selling
bread,
dough.
good conversation, but I'm also networking,
Yeah,
right? Because
of course she
remember,
is.
I want to be a healthcare professional,
Yeah.
right? This is a hospital.
Right.
So I'm trying to get to know these folks. But because of my personality, my smile, just being compassionate and kind, like I will remember names and I will remember kids' stories. And so when they came back a week or two later, I'm like, oh, how's such and such doing with that experiment? And they'd be like, oh, you remember that? Yes, I do. Right? Because I'm a people person. It's my job to know what's important about you. And so these people would get $5 and $10 in change that they would have in change and tip me.
Damn.
And I knew this is what I needed to pay my tuition. And so I got all the tips, went back to school, got a straight A quarter, and then I was at the same spot. I had to sit out and gather more money, right? And so I was like, this is chaos, right? This is insanity, right? Trying to do the same thing, expecting
Over
a
and
different
over again.
result.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to keep sitting out, going back, sitting out. Like, that's just not what I'm doing. So I decided to stop and go get a job that was paying me enough to finally be able to save enough to go to school and pay for my tuition out of pocket. And so
Where'd you go?
School bus driver.
Oh my God.
you
No, you don't know my story. No, she didn't know this.
I love this, but Sierra and I are we're gonna write down all the jobs we've ever had because I'm right up there.
I know, girl. Like
How
I know
many
the two
part-time
of you.
jobs,
Like I
but-
feel like I'm in good hands today
Yeah.
with the two of you. Like
School
I feel like
bus.
after
But
this we
listen,
need to have a
if
meeting.
anybody also ever lets me drive a school bus,
I know.
you know that
But I
that
tell
person
you,
has
this
had
is
a
the
head
thing, but
injury
girl,
and
girl,
they don't know.
I love me some Jane dressing, and I'm sorry. I want to be on your school bus. I want to be in
No.
your kindergarten class. Like I'm signing up.
Yes.
I'm signing up. Yours too. It'd be two
All right,
different
you're
school
on the bus,
buses.
and I can just see her on the bus with these kids.
Ooh.
Was there music?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. I had
Yeah.
a speaker. I
Yeah.
had the music playing.
I can
And
just
so
see
the
the
kids
bus.
are like, I'm sitting in the
Did you-
front with Miss Sierra. Yeah.
yeah.
Did you put a tip jar in that?
I want to know if you ever had to do a brake check on these kids.
I
Right? You're not
can
allowed to do
neither
that now. but
deny
you
or
could.
confirm that I
okay.
did a break
Okay.
check.
That's right. We warned
We
you
will
about
not name any
stories. Yeah, I
school
love
bus
her.
names.
Right. No children were
No school
injured
districts?
in
Children
this
were
study.
injured in this school bus.
So, do you get back to UC, or do you decide that UC is just going to be too much?
School bus driving, they're paying me $21 an hour.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, school. Oh, if y'all wanted to have a job, school bus, $21 an hour, and you get paid every week, and you have holidays and breaks off, so you could collect. What's that downtown unemployment?
Oh, wow!
During the holidays
breaks.
and breaks.
Yep, because you're not working. You're not working.
Okay. All right.
She's got to teach something.
You're not working.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
This is part of the boot camp.
I know.
Sierra boot
Okay.
camp.
And then the
Sierra.
summers as well. You get your summers off as well.
Okay. So you're working the school bus. What happens next?
And so I say I did school bus driving for 4 years.
Wow.
4 or 5 years. And I'm like, this is not it. This is not for me. I think what happened is I kept getting when I came to work, I minded my business. Like I was always about, I'm not here to make any friends. I'm here to do my job, get my check, and go home to my real family and my real friends, right? Like this is not a job that I want to be. This is not a career position for
Right.
me.
Yeah.
And a lot of people at that company, that was their career position.
Yeah.
And so I never said it, right? I never said it. I just came in, did my job, and left. But it was like people could see it on me, like, oh, she not trying to stay here. She's good.
Right.
And so
This
the
is
bosses
temporary. Yeah.
whose career this was would like bother me for no reason. And I'm just like, really? Here's an example. We have to do these things where we had like a system where it basically the bus would siren if somebody got on it that wasn't supposed to be on it. So one day I parked. It had been a rough morning. I'm sitting at the steering wheel. I'm just looking at my phone. You know,
I know this.
You gotta decompress sometimes, looking at my phone. And so before I sat there, I did the check.
Right.
And so the way that I used to do it was I would do the check first, and then I would sit down, and then I would hurry up and take the key out and get off the bus. And so I did just that. And so, but this particular time, it didn't work. And so I had to go back, check it, come back, and then do it. And so I did that, and as I got off the bus, I'm walking, and the manager pulls up in her little van. What are you doing? You need to go do your check. I said, I already did it. Well, I didn't see you do it. That's not my problem. If you want to see me do it, go look at the cameras. You can see the cameras. Oh, I'm not going to look at the cameras. I'm not doing another check. I already did. What? So which one you going to do?
Right.
And, you know, I stayed calm, and I pride myself in being calm.
Yeah.
Because it's important to stay calm, especially at work, right? Like, I want to come back to this place, right? Like, I don't want to not leave. I don't want to get smart. I don't want words to be exchanged, and then you can't come back from it. And so I remain calm. But every time I went here, she went here. Like, I went low.
You went
I
low and she
continued
went
to
high.
stay monotone. I continued to tell her what I wasn't going to do. Maybe that was the problem, me telling her that I said, I'm not going back on the bus and doing that. I've already done that. Well, I didn't see it. That's not my problem. If you would like to see it, you could go look at the video. Well, I'm not going to look at the video. Well, I'm not going back and doing something that I've already done.
Yeah.
I've already done it, and I'm not doing it again.
So this is when we
I need
we
to
started
go.
to leave the bus.
This was it. This was it for me. This is it for
Was
me.
that the last
This
day?
was-
No, that was
but
definitely
that was mentally the
You
last.
checked
yes,
day,
for sure.
right.
And that same time, I also went to Jamaica for my 30th birthday. And it was that point on that beach that I was like, I'm not going back to drive the school bus again because I'm not about to have myself subject to people talking to me crazy when I didn't even do anything. You were talking to me crazy because of what you don't like inside of you. That's not my problem.
This experience of you recognizing that I know that what I want to do is bigger than this, and I know that, and I'm maybe surrounded by people that haven't decided to fulfill their dreams.
Correct.
And have there been other times where that kind of relationship or that experience has tried to pull you down? And what do you think kind of got you out of that mindset and kept you going?
So
Because I imagine there are probably a lot of people in your life that were saying, just keep working the school bus job. Like, you make money, it's good. Like, why do you want something more?
well, so people in my life knew me.
Yeah.
And so they knew that I was not content at that job. And so in Jamaica, me and my mom went to Jamaica. My mom's my best friend, right? And so we went to Jamaica, and 30th birthday on the beach, I told her, I said, I'm going back to school.
Wow.
And, you know, in her mind, she's like, oh, yeah, you're going back to UC. You got to go back to UC. This is where you started. You have 15 credit hours left
Yeah.
before you graduate. Like, go there, get the degree, get it done.
done.
But she didn't know that that's not what I was thinking. I was like, I need a degree now because it doesn't matter where I go and try to apply. They're going to say that I need a degree, right? And so I said, I'm going to Cincinnati State. I'm going to pay out of pocket. And I'm like, Cincinnati State is a quarter of what UC is. I can definitely afford to pay for Cincinnati State out of pocket. As a school bus driver, I'm going to do it. And I literally, after the summer, that it was like summer 2017, I came and I applied and started Cincinnati State in the fall of 17. Yeah.
Have you always known then, you know, that you were who you are as a kid and that you had all of these things that you wanted to accomplish?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the ultimate goal is to be a pediatrician.
Still.
Yes.
Still. That's been
not
since
changing.
day one.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's not going to change. It still hasn't changed. Like, yes, I have a career-ending job at P&G, but my future plans for that, I'll just keep to myself.
You've still got goals. You've still got goals and dreams. And you always have. You've known that.
Absolutely.
And the people in your life have always supported, encouraged, seen who you are.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Even sometimes when I'm like, oh, I'm going to work full time. I'm going to go to school and I'm going to take care of my daughter. Everybody's like, you going to do all of that for a time? You'd understand it's like 4 full-time jobs. Like, because being a parent is 2 full-time jobs.
Absolutely.
Right.
The other 2, that's just whatever, full-time job, or, but you're going to have 4 full-time jobs, like, right? And then, like, you have to be successful in school. Like, you can't just not get good grades. Like, you have to get good grades, right? Like, it's like, that's the plan, right? Yeah. Like, straight A student, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, you have to also perform at work. Like, are you going to be able to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and get to work at 5 o'clock in the morning? And then you leave work at 5 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock in the morning and get your first class at 10 o'clock. And then you leave, school after you've been in classes and get back to work at 1:30. And then you get off at 4:30 and then pick your baby up from school by 6. And then go home and cook and do whatever needs to be done for her, and then do it all over again Monday through Friday. Yeah. You're going to be able to do that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And if
because
I can,
there is no or.
No,
Sierra.
No, there's no or.
It's and.
The way that I think about my goals is that they're not an option. Like, they're not an option. They're lit. So when you said like volunteering, like that's what you don't say you have to do it. That's a goal for me. Oh. I have to do that. I love that. That's not an option, right? Like, doing community service is not an option. And that's what I'm raising my daughter to understand, because passion, integrity, honesty, all of that is built doing for others. Yeah. You can see for people, like doing things for kids who don't have it, or exposing them to jobs that they've never even seen exist before, right? Like, I mean, being honest, I'm a Black woman. I'm a scientist. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 30 years ago, we were like far and few in between, right? Like, but showing kids that look like me that they can do this if they want to. Mm-hmm. It's a no-brainer.
By the way, can we just say, I love how you said, I am a Black woman and I am a scientist. Say it. I love it.
I am a Black woman and I am a scientist.
Go, girl.
We ain't playing no games.
Go.
So you graduate 2020. You had a couple of experiences doing undergraduate research at UC, working in a lab, kind of by yourself sometimes.
Yeah. You guys said it was during pandemic. During the pandemic, you were. Can you talk about that?
So this program was not as. Let's just say that the associate researcher that I was, or associate professor that I was working under, did not put the effort needed into my internship, and so I was in there a lot by myself, half of the time not knowing what I was doing. And then if somebody would finally come in, I'd be like, oh, great, yes. Can you help me do this? Because I don't know what I'm doing. And so they were like, oh, okay. And then, it was others of us. We were talking. We were, like, well, how's yours going? Well, how's yours going? I'm like, I'm actually in the lab, but I barely see my associate professor. And if I do, it's him trying to hurry up and teach me something that he should have taught me weeks ago. Like, 6 weeks into the program, it was time for us to do like a midterm presentation. And we spent, the day before the presentation, we spent 4 hours on a virtual call because I did a draft of my presentation. We spent 4 hours on the call. And it was not correct. And it was him trying to correct it and trying to help me understand the information. And in my head, at the time, I'm like, I'm not going to get frustrated. I'm not going to get upset because I am learning information. And it's important for me to learn, right? Like, I'm a person that...
Oh, this is the thing I know about you is that...
I need to learn.
Some people would say, you know what? It's okay. I know enough. Sierra is like... I can know more, and I can do more, and I can learn more. And it's always, there's no just get by with you. It's I excel. No. And whether it's, a job or school or, it's not enough for me to just kind of know this information. I want to be able to teach it to somebody else. I want to know it that well.
I'm not here to be mediocre. Like that's not even in me. Like mediocre is not okay. And if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to find a new room because why are you the smartest person in the room? Right? Like that's not even, I've never even heard of that. Like anytime I'm in a position and I'm the smartest one there, I got to find somebody else. Yeah. I need somebody else to teach me because you're not teaching me. It's at a point where now I'm teaching you and that's good, but who's going to teach me?
Right.
And so we need that continuous funnel of me taking my knowledge and teaching others and me gaining knowledge from others, right?
Right.
No,
they say you can't, I played tennis in high school. The only way to get better is to be with someone better. The only way to run faster is to run with someone faster. Iron sharpens iron.
Correct.
Right.
Yes, that's the Bible.
There you go.
Iron sharpens iron, for sure.
Yeah.
You can't, there's no way to do it. Like there's just no way to do it. And so mediocre is not in my vocabulary. Like I vomit when I hear mediocre. Like, I can't even weird.
It's a cuss word.
I just dated someone. And the first month after we were dating.
Who would survive Sierra boot camp and dating?
This.
I don't even know.
I love this.
Boy. Okay.
1 month of dating him, I was telling my best friend, I'm like, this ain't gonna work. This is not gonna work. And she's like, why not? I said, He's
not smart enough.
He's not even that. Because
mediocre.
He's too mediocre.
Okay.
He was too content where he was. And I'm telling you now, he was not the best he could be. Right? Like, no, I see people's potential.
Word.
Okay, Amy, now listen. I see people's potential, okay?
No, I know.
Yes.
I know.
So I
that.
understood how amazing he could be.
And he just wasn't.
He didn't.
No,
you
I
can't
know.
see that.
Yeah. I can't help you. I can't get you there.
Water, but you can't take him to the.
No,
you can't make him drink.
You know what? Some of my best mentors in my life have that skill. Like they can see who you really are. And that's beautiful when you want to hit that. That's really beautiful when you want to hit that.
Join us in our next episode of part 2 with our discussion with Cierra Campbell, who introduces us to her way of thinking about opportunities in life. Not either or, but both and.
The FutureProof podcast is brought to you from Studio 459, up on the hill at Cincinnati State's main campus in Clifton. This podcast is produced in conjunction with the Cincinnati State Audio-Video Production Program, its students and faculty. Student producer is Carly Baker. If you like what you heard here, please hit the subscribe button. If you're an employer or potential student interested in the programs Cincinnati State has to offer, please visit cincinnatistate.edu.